Hi, I'm Bob. I've been totally blind since birth, and I'm into Star Wars. We're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 6, on the very same day that said episode has aired, because oh my gosh, how can I not this week? Going to be spoilers ahead, so watch it on Disney Plus if you haven't seen the episode. You're just going to get my thoughts concerning said episode and a bunch of spoilers here. So, with that being said, let's talk about Chapter 6. From the desert comes a stranger. So the opening scene led me to believe we were going to get a Boba Fett centric episode. We got to see Cobb Vanth cleaning some house in his little town of Mos Pelgo. And he was nailing a bunch of pikes. He left one alive. He kicked over the spice that they brought. And he made sure that one remaining had a message to send back to his bosses. And of course, there are repercussions later on in the episode for Van's action. But he's a really kick butt marshal, and hopefully we'll be seeing him again. So the opening title comes and goes, and I'm thinking, all right, well, Boba Fett's going to show up. They'll probably use Din Djarin at the end of the last episode, showing up and cleaning house in his Mandalorian armor with his dark saber or something like that. But oh no, we are right beside Din in the N1 Starfighter, and we are going directly to wherever Luke Skywalker is building his Jedi Academy. I believe the descriptive audio narration track narrated by Nicole Zanzarella describes this world as a verdant world, a very lush world. So, in my mind, I immediately went to Ossus from Star Wars Legends. That was a really peaceful, lush Jedi library world where they stored a bunch of their texts. They just did the Jedi thing. They meditated. They were at peace. And I have no idea where this is. That probably hasn't been revealed on StarWars.com yet. Just a few hours after watching the episode on the very day that it's aired. It could be Dantooine. I have no idea. I'd love to know the location of this world, though, at some point. So R2-D2 shows up right after Din lands. So it's awesome seeing R2 on screen, be it in animation or live action. I think he brings out the kid in just about every Star Wars fan. And, we get to see some new droids because R2 leads Din right to the construction site of the Jedi Academy. And the descriptive audio narration track identifies these little guys as ant droids. Now, they may look vastly different from buzz droids, but they, to me anyway, have the same warbling sound effect from Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars, given to the buzz droids. But unlike the buzz droids, these new little ant droids that we're looking at, they put things together. Buzz droids would rip everything apart, from starfighters to clone troopers. So always cool to see new droids. I like these little guys. Maybe we'll get one as an accessory at some point in the 3 3/4 inch line. So when R2 goes into power down mode, just this really hilarious scene where Din was basically asking what quite a few other Star Wars fans were probably asking over the past year. How much longer do I have to wait here, or something to that extent? And so he's, propped up on this pillow of leaves, and when he hears this little twig snap, and R2 notices as well, and when he turns his little head, and then, he takes note of what's going on. I'm thinking it's going to be Luke, but oh no, Rosario Dawson shows up back in the role of Ahsoka Tano again. And man, she just nails live action Ahsoka, I think. And she lets out this little giggle when talking about R2 and when interacting with him again. And to me, it really seemed like R2 brought out the kid in Ahsoka, because of course she served with this little guy during the Clone Wars. This was Anakin's astromech droid, and I think seeing him there, seeing him, having survived everything, really just pleases her to no end. So I love that little giggle that Rosario lets out there. It was, to me, very much like a very early Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano. But that just goes back to R2 bringing out the kid and everybody. So they eventually find Luke and Grogu. They're watching them from a distance. And I like how compassionately Ahsoka is speaking to Din. She knows what it's like to have to say goodbye to people that she's been with for quite a while. She is not like a stoic Mace Windu who, looks down his nose at Jedi Padawans and, dismissively calls them citizens after after they leave the temple. She has a lot more compassion than that, and she is trying to explain to him that if Grogu sees you, if he sees you here, it's going to make becoming a Jedi even more difficult for him because he misses you very much already. And I love that about Ahsoka. I mean, she is still a kick-butt Jedi, yes, but at the same time, I mean, she has a heart a mile wide. So I think she's got the best of everything in terms of her character. She knows what it's like to have to say goodbye to family. And she's trying to help Din through that as best she can. And of course, Din does what he feels is right, and he leaves his gift with her, and he goes back to Tatooine to help Fett out with the Pikes. But that's not all we get in terms of Grogu and Luke. We actually get to see them interacting together. I really wanted to see more of this after season 2 wrapped up with The Mandalorian, and unbeknownst to me, we were getting that this week. So that re-speecher software that they're using to give us a much younger Mark Hamill voice, well, to me, it nails Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi. I'm not talking about the angsty teen from A New Hope. I'm not talking about the very excitable young Jedi in training that was practically shouting at Ben in Empire Strikes Back. The part where he's like, Ben, tell him I'm ready. I can be a Jedi. Ben, tell him I'm ready. No, this is the Luke Skywalker that was calmly trying to reason with his father on Endor before going up to meet the Emperor on the second Death Star. We heard a more mature, more patient, more, a more peaceful Luke by the time Return of the Jedi rolled around. And I feel like the software, it captured those intonations, those lines, the way Mark Hamill delivered them in Return of the Jedi. So, I mean, I've heard people say that this Luke sounds emotionless, but I think it really captures Return of the Jedi Luke, or Luke from this point in his life. It's about 5 years after that, but he sounds the way I would think Luke would sound. I mean, he is, more Jedi-like. So I really like the intonation, and there is some emotion there with Luke, though. Whenever they're doing the thing with the frog, Grogu is trying to bring it to his mouth, and Luke's meditating. He opens his eyes, and he catches on to what Grogu's doing. Just the way that they're able to make Luke say, Grogu, it sounds like Luke from Empire just a bit. Whenever R2 and Yoda are pulling that shtick with the lamp, and Luke's like, R2, let him have it. He's just like putting up with it, but he's a bit exasperated. I gotta say, I was not expecting to see that flashback we got to Order 66. Seeing what things were like on Coruscant for Grogu, no wonder he is blocking a lot of that stuff out. And I like how Luke Skywalker kind of led into helping him remember. Just a brief memory. I feel like maybe this is something that Luke plans on doing a bit more in the future. Maybe a bit of, a bit of therapy for the kid, because, he starts talking about Yoda, and then he says something like, yeah, Yoda used to talk in riddles. Do you remember anything like that? Do you remember anything of home? Do you want me to help you remember what it was like when you were home? I can help you remember if you want. And Luke just sounds so much like a father figure, so patient, and willing to let this little guy do this over time. And I love that moment. But the Order 66 scene, oh boy, no wonder Grogu doesn't want to think back to those days. No wonder he's blocking everything out. No wonder he has just pushed that way down into his subconscious, because we actually see Jedi laying down their lives for this kid as they are, shot by clone troopers there in the temple on Coruscant. I wonder who those Jedi were. I thought of the younglings from the Clone Wars, but I mean, we don't really get too many descriptions of these characters in this very brief flashback scene that we see from Grogu's perspective as Luke is helping him remember. But man, I want more of Grogu during Order 66. I want to know how he got off of Coruscant, how he wound up with the Nikto, or Niktos, maybe you say it like that. How Mando found him. I want to see more of that little bit of backstory. Maybe we will at some point. It was just a really nice little teaser, though. And seeing Luke with Grogu on his back in the little backpack, of course, made me think of Luke and Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. I felt like I was in the theater back in 1997 when I was around 13 and watching Empire Special Edition. And it was just something that the writers pulled off, something that the guys at Industrial Light and Magic and Lucasfilm pulled off with the way Luke sounded, the way that the scenes played out. I mean, I was captivated from start to finish. And of course, I was left wanting more. Seeing Luke coming into his own and being the Jedi we always wanted to see him be. Luke in the heyday of being a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Master is some amazing stuff. And then we get it. We actually get to see Luke and Ahsoka on screen together, and them just having a conversation was amazing. Right when she comes on screen there at the beginning of the episode, I remember thinking, are we actually going to get to see them talking together? Are we going to get to see a larger than life character from the prequel Clone Wars era and a larger than life character from the original trilogy having a conversation on screen together? And yeah, we got that this week. So, having Luke talking with Ahsoka about, how to go about training Grogu was just a really awesome scene. And of course, Ahsoka tells him to trust his instincts. And it was so brief, but it was something I'd been wanting to see since The Mandalorian season 2. Something I didn't expect to see so soon, but wow, they really delivered this week. Gotta love that scene with the remote too, the blast remote. So we get to see another character from the Clone Wars era. Because, as I said in the beginning of the video, Cobb Vanth is going to have to suffer the repercussions of what he's done to the Pikes. So, Din shows up on Tatooine, and it was awesome seeing him trying to recruit Cobb Vanth and all the men and women that he could get Vanth to find, so Boba could shore up his territory there, protect it from the Pikes. And I was thinking we were coming to the end of the episode, and that would be it. And then when the descriptive audio narration track starts to describe a figure in the distance coming on screen wearing a duster, a very tall, lanky figure wearing a wide-brimmed hat, I immediately thought of my Cad Bane action figure, because I know what this guy looks like from a tactile point of view, and I'm thinking, oh my god, they're giving us Bane on top of everything else. Are we actually going to get him? Is he going to be voiced by Corey Burton? So yes, we get Bane, and when Cad Bane starts to speak, well, to me anyway, it sure as heck sounded like Corey Burton. So, we see Cad unload on Cobb Vanth and his new deputy. And I don't know if we're going to be seeing Vanth again. Hopefully there's a mod parlor within land speed or distance, because these guys need it. And then, of course, we see that Camtono exploding in Garza's sanctuary. So hopefully she made it out okay. And then, there's a third cliffhanger, because Luke offers Grogu a choice at the end of the episode. Those of you who've seen it, what did you think of that scene where Luke takes out Yoda's lightsaber, a prequel lightsaber, and we see Luke holding it in his hand, and he's like, Okay, you can either stay here and become a Jedi, or you can go and you can spend life with your friend. But he warned him. He's like, you know, a lifetime for you, I mean, it's going to be a heck of a lot longer than the lifetimes of the others around you. So he gives Grogu some food for thought. Let me go answer my door. Apparently something Star Warsy has been dropped off.
Pause video recording button to face. Pause video.
Speak of Star Wars, and it shall appear. So yeah, we'll be taking a look at this in another video. But yeah, that choice that Luke gave Din, of course, that's our cliffhanger. So I'm wondering if he is going to go back with the Mandalorian or what. It's definitely a lot of food for thought for Grogu. I mean, I have no idea what he's going to do. Some fans are automatically thinking, oh, well, Grogu stays with Luke. Grogu's going to get killed by Kylo Ren before the sequel trilogy starts. You know, that's going to be awful. Yeah, well, that's going to happen. I have no idea. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. I kind of want Grogu to go with the Mandalorian, but in the words of Anakin Skywalker from that Ryloth arc in the Clone Wars, I'm just sitting here watching the show. In my own words, I'm having a heck of a time doing it with these audio description tracks too. So this one was one heck of an episode. And man, there's so much to think about and so much to digest. I think I'm going to give this one an 11 out of 10. It was just all kinds of awesome this week. Probably some things I forgot to mention, but maybe I'll do a part 2 of this one at some point because I feel like there's still more to talk about. Okay, this is a long enough video as it is. So I will hear you guys in the next Star Wars related video. Have a great day. May the Force be with you. And I'll hear you next time.